U.S. President Donald Trump's second term has been defined by a sharp return to military force overseas, with Washington again leaning heavily on airstrikes and target operations as central tools of American power. These new offensives stand in stark contrast to Trump's long-standing pledge to end so-called forever wars, undercutting his campaign message of pulling back from foreign entanglements and avoiding fresh military adventures. Since January 2025, Trump's second term has seen U.S. strikes carried out in multiple countries, ranging from Yemen and Iran to Somalia, Iraq, Syria, and even parts of Africa, as the Pentagon executes a rapidly expanding list of missions. Trump's 2025 record reveals a wide-ranging strike campaign stretching from the Middle East to Africa and beyond, with hundreds of airstrikes logged in just months and critics warning that U.S. force is once again becoming the default response abroad. For Dow, Natan's Isfahan hit by B. 2 stealth bombers in June 2025, in the largest U.S. strike on Iran's nuclear program to date. Operation Rough Rider saw large-scale air and naval strikes on Houthi radar, air defenses, and missile and drone launch sites over Red Sea attacks. Dozens of airstrikes against ISIS planners and al-Shabaab units, with U.S. officials saying multiple operatives were killed and strike tempo doubled over last year. U.S. struck ISIS positions after deadly attacks on American forces, targeting training areas and logistics used to plan assaults on U.S. troops. Continued counter-ISIS missions, including air and drone strikes on cells and facilitators tied to plots against U.S. and allied interests. Yemen strikes coupled with wider naval operations to keep commercial shipping lanes open against missile and drone threats. Targeted actions on suspected cartel-linked vessels at sea as Washington folds narco-trafficking into its global threats map. Heavy U.S. military buildup and threats near Venezuela, but no ground invasion or confirmed airstrike campaign so far. Trump supporters argue that the renewed strikes prove he can project American strength without launching large ground invasions, casting them as limited, highly targeted operations that avoid another full-scale war. Critics counter that the sheer scale and geographic spread of these missions amount to a quiet expansion of U.S. warfare, directly contradicting his "no more endless wars" rhetoric and blurring the line between limited action and open-ended conflict. Security think tanks caution that airstrikes alone rarely deliver lasting victories or a stable peace, warning that killing militants from the air without political settlements or governance reform often just resets, rather than resolves, conflicts. In Somalia, analysts warn that continued U.S. drone strikes risk fueling recruitment for armed groups like al-Shabaab and ISIS, as civilian harm and destroyed livelihoods are exploited in propaganda to draw in new fighters. Experts also caution that Iran may retaliate asymmetrically through proxies, cyber attacks, or attacks on shipping, raising the risk that Trump strikes trigger a wider and longer Middle East confrontation rather than deterring Tehran.